Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. So, we've got the Dreyfus affair about to get started here. Let's see what this is all about. Accused of disclosing classified military information to the American ambassador in Paris, the Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus has been judged guilty of treason by the armed forces, based off of a handwriting analysis and the contents of a secret dossier. Messieurs, I present the intercepted bordereau, addressed directly to the American ambassador. While the letter's handwriting is no clear match to that of Monsieur Dreyfus, no spy would ever compose a clandestine letter using their own hand. The accused must no doubt have imitated or traced his own handwriting, leaving in it enough of its natural character for his correspondent to recognize it, but introducing into it, for greater safety, alterations borrowed from the hands of his brother and sister-in-law, in one of whose writings I have discovered the very same double S's as seen in the bordereau. So, we have three options here. Cashier him, then ship the man off to Devil's Island. We have control of Guyana, so that's available. The armed forces sentence Dreyfus to life in prison to be served on the infamous Devil's Isle. This costs us some authority, 10%. But it makes the armed forces stronger and happier. 50% chance of he gets psychological affliction. I didn't even know we had this guy on the payroll. Is he a real character in the country at this point? He is. He's a brigadier general. Is he the leader of the armed forces right now? Am I just blind? He's not leading an army. Unless I'm... Hold up. There's an easier way to do this. Go to his details screen. Who are you? 0 battalions in the France HQ. I think... So he's not currently serving as a general. He's just a character. Interesting. So, that's option number 1. He has a 50% chance of gaining psychological affliction. Treason. If only we still had the death penalty. This is just life in prison without him potentially getting psychological affliction, or auto forgery, secret dossiers, order a discreet inquiry. This makes the armed forces a little salty. Okay, so the armed forces are going to get 20% stronger regardless of what we do. We can make them happy, potentially give them a psychological affliction. We can make them a little happy and not do that. Or we can make them a little mad and... A limited investigation into the Dreyfus case is undertaken by the government. Alright, so... The armed forces are currently very happy with us, so I'm going to go with this third one here, and hopefully they'll live with it. I'm hoping for a better potential outcome. Happily, our authority hasn't suffered too badly. Bahrain wants help against Russia. I don't think that's... What's this diplomatic play about? You want to puppet Bahrain. That's not going to happen, Bahrain. Alright. Allies of convenience. Just as the single-party state law looked ready to topple, Jean Bedeau rallied their faction. It now has the support it needs to pass without compromise. We've seen this event earlier, just last episode, but I'll go ahead and read it again, just for funsies. When support was called, the unlikeliest hand in the audience rose. Another hand lifted, and then a third behind them. The faction with the least to gain from its passage, yet nothing to lose either way, assents. Cheers of exuberance followed howls of defeat as the law charged on ahead. Getting 1% pops loyal is always good for me, so I'm going to go with this first option again. ahead and unpause here. The war is going just fine. I'm actually completely unbothered about this whole situation. I think we're going to win this, and we're going to win it hard. And then we're going to get a bunch of nice little bits of territory that are going to make me feel really happy. Building up our coal infrastructure. Hopefully that will... Wow, the coal mine... Excellent. So there's radio. For now, I am going to get a small number of electronics industries producing radios, because the pops are going to want to buy radios. Just trying out some production methods here. Okay. Water tube boiler at least seems pretty alright for these furniture manufactories. The game really thinks hand assembly will be better. But it thinks rotary valve will be even better. No, rotary valve is much worse. Alright. Cool. Crazy. Let's take a look at the paper mills. Okay, paper mills lose profitability when switching over to the more automated methods. So we won't worry about that. Still have a large gold reserve. They've reached the point of being willing to accept a white piece. On the other hand, I will not accept a white piece. Oh, interesting. The United States decided to conquer some chunks of Canada here. So, we've just unlocked film. I'm going to go ahead and switch our arts academies over to making movies, because we sure are making a lot of fine art. How have you become unproductive? Oh, because you take electricity now. Well, that does make sense, doesn't it? Canada is a communist country. Interesting. They're still a dominion of Great Britain. Fascinating. For a general who's moderately popular to promote. You're a positivist. Ethiopia HQ. Yeah, you're good. Time to get over promoted. Hoping this guy will get a hold of the party, and then I won't have to deal with any issues from the armed forces in the future. Come on. Come on. Alright. So now they're low in war support. It should be about 4 more weeks till the end of this war. A nice, quick, clean war. Nothing to get worked up about. Ooh, liberal revolt in Korea. That's exciting. Korean military revolts. Ooh. A presidential republic and an autocracy. Let me see. So, Joseon is all of the standard well, not completely hyper-traditionalist. Agrarianism, protectionism, land-based taxation, serfdom. Same with the revolt. Local police, no schools, no health. Police, no schools, no health. Sorry, I'm just curious about this. Alright, so basically the only governing difference... Oh, they're state atheists. That's fascinating, as opposed to state religion. They're both cultural exclusion, they're both autocratic, but this one's a presidential republic. And it has a professional army instead of peasant levies. That's interesting. I'm not going to intervene. I don't think. They would be fighting China. I do have the capacity. Russia sides with Great Qing. Okay, probably not going to worry about that. Don't want a war with Russia. All right. The Netherlands will accept the peace deal. Let's go ahead and propose it. All right. And that gets us all those territories. So now, let's take a look at how much it'll take to puppet them. 36. Wonderful. All right, so that'll be the next place we go with that. Now, we find ourselves in a new election cycle. So the Republicans and Democrats are broken up. Let's put the petite bourgeoisie into the government. And that will slow this down a little bit, but increase the chances by a lot. We'll see. We'll see where the elections are at. Somehow the Communist Party still has a crazy high level of momentum. Not sure if I can affect that in a meaningful way. I'm not going to be able to get to single-party state before the end of this, but we'll see how that goes. A land of plenty. The country's high standard of living has resulted in a widespread sense of contentment with the status quo, favoring Bruno de Goyon and the sitting Democratic Alliance in the ongoing elections. Change? Why would I want change? I've got a full belly, a happy wife, and a good job. Why would I squander that, chasing what might be? If it's not broken, why fix it? 20% momentum. Or laud Bruno de Goyon's achievements. I'm going to go with the first one. Get some extra momentum for the ruling party. The movement to enact National Militia has gotten very strong. How long before I can exile this guy? Oh, I can exile him right now. Maybe I'll wait till after the election. On the other hand, I don't like this movement just kind of being around. But on the other hand, these two movements are still split up, so I'm going to let them be for now. Sortie de l'usine Lumière de Montalban. Louis and Auguste Lumière, the inventors of the cinematograph, have released a 45-second animated photographic view displaying the workers of their factory at Guyenne exiting their workplace. The audience, investors, and entrepreneurs all watched in fascination as the images unfolded on the screen. The executives exited first, followed by the women employed at the factory, the common laborers following after. 45 seconds felt like far longer, as the tableau extended across the cloth screen, dust particles and the rays of light from the projector hovering in the air in equal anticipation to the audience. The 20th century will be shown in film. Rising cinematography, 10% electrics industries throughput, 5% radicals from standard of living decreases, or cinema has no commercial future, 10% arts academy throughput, supported traditional arts. That's interesting. Let's go with... I don't want extra radicals, and I don't need electrics industries throughput, so I'm going to go with cinema has no commercial future. Let's make our arts academies work better. Cool. Getting another tick for a single-party state. Stall event. Backroom Deals. Once on the fence with the issue, the Catholic Church's views on the single-party state changed overnight. Guillaume Fleury-Dubé names Jean-Jacques Wivecan as the architect of the hidden deal. Backroom deals were all too common. Funding for this project, contracts to friends of friends, a quote-unquote special advisory committee on that endeavor, it's all the same, really. Grease the wheels of Imperium so it all runs a bit smoother. Sometimes, however, one gets the idea to profit from the greased wheels, and then the public catches on. After that, nobody gets what they want. Options are send word to the presses, tear the corruption out, stem and root. This gives us minus 10% enactment success chance, but 10% increased support for the petite bourgeoisie. Stay focused on the law. This gives us 70% chance of Wivecan, who's the industrialist guy, getting increased interest group attraction, 10% chance of reduced interest group attraction, or 20% chance of reduced enactment chance. I'm probably going to go with that. Or corruption is a tool like any other. This reduces enactment time significantly, but adds a setback and reduces our authority while this is going on. Actually, I might do this. 30% reduced enactment time is pretty solid, especially because our cycle is now 236 days. I can tolerate a setback. I'm doing it. So that's reduced our cycle to 194 days, which is actually a really significant increase in enactment speed. So I'm kind of moderately happy with that outcome. Oh, we should go ahead and standardize our production methods in all of the territories where we took new stuff. Oop. Okay. The Rising of the Women. The advocacy of Jean-Jacques Wivecan has led to the Democratic Alliance gaining greater electoral popularity among women, who've rushed to exercise their newfound voting rights. As we come marching in the beauty of the day, 1,000,000 darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill lofts gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses, for the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, we battle too for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our hearts shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. For the election of the Democratic Alliance, 20% momentum and increased dependent enfranchisement, or for the strengthening of the French democracy, 10% momentum, 20% dependent enfranchisement. I'm going to go with the first one, because having more momentum is what I want. There is a movement to preserve universal suffrage in the hands of the intelligentsia. It's not strong, but it's reducing the debate chance. We're still at 64% enactment and 15% advance chance, but hopefully this will give us put us in a better position for the next election. And we'll see how that affects things. I'm curious as to how that'll go. Coal market is still really, really rough. Oh my goodness, are we still short on infrastructure? There's the combustion engine. This unlocks a whole slew of production methods. For the moment, we're going to go ahead and grab some of these motor industries, and we're going to set them producing cars. Okay, so hold up. Actually, before we do that, let's check what we need. So, Switch over to motorized recon. We're going to need 653 automobiles being produced. So, let's look at the electrics industries, or not the electrics industries, the motor industries. We need about 650. We can't do any of these ones that are these massive high-level industries. Let's grab just the ones in Rhineland and I think Wallonia. So this is going to be 475. Actually, no. We'll do Ile-de-France, which is 375, and then Wallonia, which is 250. Nah, we'll do the Rhineland ones. Alright. And the ones in Wallonia. And then we'll switch over to Motor Recon for both our barracks and our conscription centers. And Motor Recon for barracks gives us larger bonuses for than Bicycle Recon. Bicycle Recon gives us 5% offense and 20% provinces captured. Motorized gives us 30% provinces captured, which is a net increase of 10 percentage points. It also gives us an additional 10 offense. Makes that, it's a slightly more expensive production method, but it's still very effective. And these two buildings are still profitable, so we should be good to go with that. Alright. The electricity market is still incredibly rough. And we're still experiencing shortages. Can we get extra infrastructure out of electric? We can. We get extra infrastructure from electric trains. We also spend less coal. Consume more electricity, consume more engines. Okay. So I think once we've got steam turbine, it's going to be time to flip over both our railways and our power industry. And then we'll just be absolutely rolling in infrastructure. For the moment, however, I think we do need to do yet another round of infrastructure increases, because we're still so very short on infrastructure. My brain is being boggled by this. I guess we're just sort of in a place where we're building so much all at once that we just run over our needs without even realizing it. Anyway, there's the election. Alright, so the Pugio Serpollet. The Pugio Enterprise, in collaboration with the engineer Léon Serpollet, has created an experimental steam tricycle design using the Serpollet instant steam generator. Despite the lack of public release, the device has become a symbol of innovation in the French Empire. The benefits: a fast start, lightweight, oh boy, lightweight, a small size, low water consumption, and a minimal risk of explosion, of course. These machines will drive... Okay, everyone settle down. These machines will drive the growth of our cities, 5% urban center throughput, or taxing vehicles will provide needed revenue, consumption taxes on automobiles. I'll do the first one. Urban center throughput sounds great. The movement to enact a national militia has become revolutionary. That's unfortunate. Okay. Denmark wants a trade agreement. Sure. Baden wants to do our customs union. Okay. Greece wants a defensive pact. No, thank you. Election results. We're still an unacceptable government, but we're not completely wrecked. Jean-Jacques Ouivecan. Why is the Catholic Church in on this? I'm going to exile you. It's going to make my industrialists mad, but I'm really working hard for them. And hopefully that'll weaken this movement enough that it won't be revolutionary. Agitate elsewhere. So that's an achievement. We'll see how this goes. But we're definitely doing the single-party state thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll go to... If we go to National Militia, how much of our current prestige is built on Army and Navy power projection? Not actually... Not actually an overwhelming amount of it. We would probably lose a lot of Army power projection, but if we built up... if we built up barracks kind of all over the country... It would make us very slow to wage war, though. That's the thing that's tough for me. Alright. In any case, we're still working towards... We only need one more pass through here. And I'll see what comes of this. We are getting a truly astonishing number of radicals from this movement. Cross-border investments. French industrialists are interested in making investments in neighboring Harari Industries. He stood up, put his hat on, and headed towards the door. At first he seemed he would leave without another word, but then he turned around and spoke with barely suppressed anger. Being accused of lacking patriotism for where I try to make money isn't just insult. It betrays a complete lack of understanding of how money is made. Do you think I made what I already have by thinking provincially? An excellent investment. It gives them manufacturing income and improves relations, or strong-arm them into investing domestically. This gives us extra manufacturing income, but reduces the happiness of the industrialists. I'm going to do this first one. I don't need the money right now. Do a promotion. The armed forces demand that Major General Eugene Thieu de Mélant, a Wallonian communist general, touting his history of loyal and effective service. Armed forces, I don't... Not right now. I don't necessarily want to be going wild. How do I... because the Catholic Church is headed up by a pacifist, and pacifist supports the whole National Militia situation. Oh boy. Bureaucratic imbroglio. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of single-party state have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. Damn this labyrinthine legal system, or cut through at least some of the red tape. You know how I do with this event. I'm always going to go with cutting through the red tape, because I don't want to lose enactment chance. You know how this goes. This will slow us down a little bit, but it'll be okay. The Union of the French People. The recent unrest in the French Empire has led to a group of citizens in the petite bourgeoisie to form a nationalist organization dedicated to defending the nation and the emperor from revolutionary activity. The speaker's words burst forth from his mouth in a torrent of fire, issuing the strictest condemnations against the Reds, against the enemies of the French Empire, against those people deemed unworthy by the black-clad men at the flagpole, their lapels littered with symbols of reverence. And how will you make it known that you stood by the emperor and the righteous French against the tide of filth? Flinty eyes drilled into the crowd, looking for the first onlooker to flee. The French people have made a stand against revolution. Change progress with civil war by minus 10%. Movement to enact national militia gets militant counter-revolutionaries, plus 5% political movement radicalism, and a character appears. Or we have no care for this demagogue's grift. This progresses the revolution by 10% and makes the petite bourgeoisie salty to the tune of -2 interest group approval. I'm going to go with slowing down the revolution. Agitator, Denis Lemay. You're an authoritarian who aligns with the petite bourgeoisie. Wonderful. Hi. I think I might go ahead and make him leader of the petite bourgeoisie. Will that do anything for me? No, not at the moment. I'm hoping he starts a movement that will let me do some political stuff that I want to do later on. Oh, I do have the capacity to reform the government. Oh, interesting. I still can't get higher than where I'm currently at with my my situation. Well, hopefully, maybe going to single-party state will solve all that. Unfortunately, we're at the point where the goodwill from having flipped over to workers' protections have basically no longer extant. And with everyone wanting to switch over to National Militia, things are getting a little dicey. The fruits of thy labor. Content with the new state of affairs in the French Empire. Okay, alright. So this is Denis Lemay, the guy who just showed up. Leaving. He's leaving. Alright, I'm going to read this. Content with the new state of affairs in the French Empire and unwilling or unable to face the uncertainties that life abroad offers, Denis Lemay has officially announced his retirement from political life. So now he's off to Metz, if the rumors are true, to paint, drink, and raise chickens. Seems that herding men gives one a taste for herding God's simpler creatures, too. Maybe he just likes chickens, Giodo. Shut your bloody mouth, Guy. Even firebrands cool off in the end, it would seem. This makes the petite bourgeoisie stronger, or let us honor his memory. A bust in Paris, perhaps. This makes them happier. I'm going to make them stronger, because they're in the ruling clique right now. Kind of an odd... I don't know what causes characters to do that. Well, the Catholic Church are unhappy now. Or at least unhappy enough to stop talking about how cool the king is. Which is a tragedy, because they should want to talk about how cool the king is, because the king is very cool. Can I finagle my budget to make anyone happier? I can't. Literally, I cannot. Crime and divinity. The reactionary leanings of many clergymen affiliated with the Catholic Church have given rise to demands to curb the political influence of French religious organizations. I've made my opinions on this clear. All the monasteries in Paris are not worth the life of a single French citizen. We've seen this event before, but it's been a while. They are holy men and women and will say what they will. Movement to enact National Militia gets clerical support, which increases the political movement support. And change progress of civil war by plus 10%. Can't do that. Bolt their temples shut and arrest clergy who resists. Change progress of civil war by minus 5%. I have to do the second one. What's tragic about this is that, honestly, if I weren't so far into this whole single-party state situation, I would be willing to help things out. But as it stands, let's have a trade agreement, Prussia. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. I'm curious as to how it goes. Like, if I weren't so far with the whole single-party state thing, I would really just go ahead and do this, probably. Like, a national militia wouldn't necessarily be a problem. It's just I'm so far into this other thing. This would grab so much of the empire. If only I could get one of these interest groups If I can get someone else in charge of either the trade unions or the rural folk. Preferably the trade unions. It is very complicated, this tightrope we're attempting to walk here. We're back down to reputable infamy. We're at 22.1, so that's not too bad. A new event, leaning in. With revolutionary activities seeming to grow ever worse in recent days, an opportunity exists for the government to draw closer to someone's national movement and further welcome his influence over the politically unaligned. To draw closer to nobody's national movement and further welcome his influence over the politically unaligned. This meeting does not need to be one between adversaries, but rather between people whose love for the French Empire extends beyond all mortal bounds. Even if we have different visions, I would hope that you could recognize that what threatens our nation threatens us all. With his aid, we will bury the revolution. This reduces Civil War progress by minus 10%. Makes the movement slightly more radical. Gives us 2% of middle stratum pops get more loyalist. Gives us 50 extra authority, 15% radicals from discrimination, and makes the petite bourgeoisie, Catholic Church, and landowners both stronger and happier. We do not require the assistance of rabble-rousers. This reduces political movement radicalism and makes the petite bourgeoisie, Catholic Church, and landowners unhappy. I'm going to go with the first one. That's going to slow down the revolution. I'm also hoping that we might wind up with maybe the Catholic Church bailing out of this revolutionary movement, and that would make me very, very pleased. Single-party states' next tick is going on in 90 days. We're doing a solid job of pushing back against the growth of the revolution. A moment. See, if Austria and Prussia were as conciliatory as they say, they would improve relations with me back, and then we could all be happy together. Because I would love to have an ally in this, in case this movement pops off. I would love to have a state that I know is going to align with me. Obviously, it's not the United States. I do have a defensive pact with Mexico. Could form a defensive pact with Brazil. Ooh, I actually have the capacity to make them protectorate now. They've fallen to minor power, which is interesting. You know, let me look at their production methods for their barracks. It's not great. Alright, one more event here. Oh my goodness. The Infernal Machine. An attempt on the life of the Emperor has killed many but spared our ruler. The complexity device, itself damaged in the attack, is the only trace of the revolutionary left at the site of the attack. It's hard to say what happened. I heard a slow explosion like a ragged platoon fire, and there was smoke and chaos all around. The people to my right and left were cut down where they stood, but I was untouched. I looked off towards the Emperor, and there was just as suddenly a bloody void surrounding him. Limit Ferdinand Philippe Bonaparte's public appearances for a while. This crime is obviously the fault of Jean Bedeau. A 33% chance to reduce Civil War progress. 33% chance he gets reduced popularity. 33% chance he gets cleared of charges. And Civil War progress goes up. I'm going to risk it. Yes! Alright, that reduced the Civil War progress. That's excellent. With that having been said, it is time to put a pin in it. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I'll see you all on the other side.